So when Thunderbolts was first revealed about a year ago, I was amongst a few that said, who cares? Around the time, I was so burnt out on the MCU that I really didn't care what their future projects were, and I kind of just checked out mentally. But as time went on, I saw more trailers, more clips, high score, high praise, and good word of mouth. The buzz online was that this movie was great, but I wasn't sold on it. The MCU became way too inconsistent, so I didn't want to take a chance, and I decided that I would just stream it when it comes out. Fast forward to a few weeks ago, and I finally checked it out, and I gotta say, it's pretty damn solid, even good. Did it live up to the hype online? Well, no, but most things rarely do these days. But when compared to recent MCU projects, this one definitely stands out amongst one of the better ones. And I see why people liked it so much. But for as much as I enjoyed it, I can't shake the fact that this could have been better if it wasn't stuck in the MCU machine, and if it was really allowed to just go all out. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So before I get into how this movie could have gone up a notch, I want to first just tell you what it is and what it does well. Typical YouTube reviewer stuff. So let's get into it.
You will do your job!
So Thunderbolts is about a ragtag group of heroes and villains that we've seen throughout the MCU, teaming up to take down this chick. She appeared in the shows, I forgot her name. Valentina, that's it. Anyway, Valentina is being investigated by the government, so she decides to clean house, but try and get rid of them all. But they team up instead. Oh yeah, and also they have to fight Sentry, he's there too. So you basically got an enemies to friend type of story with C and B tier Marvel characters. We've seen it before, but that's not what makes this movie special. What has people talking is that it surprisingly touches on themes of depression and loneliness, with each character being broken and lost in some way. It touches on their mental state and the various different problems that they have. And of course, throughout the movie, they grow closer, and by the end, they learn to support each other. It's quite interesting because this really isn't something that we've explored that much in the MCU. So this subject matter just takes a lot of people by surprise. Hell, it definitely surprised me. Along with the darker themes, the whole movie has a darker aesthetic to match. Like visually, it's darker and has a bit more grit to it, which is fitting because of the subject matter and themes that they're dealing with. And the moments of them looking into the void and seeing their past were done very well. When these moments were happening, I was just locked in. Seeing these broken characters interact and forced to work together, and then by the end learning to care for each other, was done pretty well overall. So all this stuff as it is was pretty good, but this is where my biggest and honestly probably my only complaint comes in. For how mature and dark these themes and ideas are, they're being held back by the simple fact that the MCU just can't let things get too serious, and there has to have some sort of wisecrack or quip or joke to pull things back and bring levity to the situation. Okay, if one character like Red Guardian is the comic relief, sure, that's fine. He's a bit annoying, but I can get behind that. He's the older father figure who lost all his fame and has no purpose, and seeing him try to be so upbeat and encouraging isn't really a bad idea, even though there were several times where I feel like he just kind of went too far and was really just on my nerves. Overall, I got his character, it was good, but every other character has some sort of smart remark or a quip that they spit out, and it's these little things sprinkled throughout the whole movie that nearly ruin several scenes for me personally. It's like Disney is too afraid to really go all in, so they have to pull things back to make sure things aren't too upsetting or too serious. They should just let these moments sit and rest so we can take it all in. But no, a lot of these scenes have to be punctuated with some sort of joke. Now, I'm pretty certain that I'm in the minority about this, so I want to reiterate that what is here is still pretty good, but I just know how much better it could have been if it was allowed to go all in, allowed to be more mature, allowed to be as dark and somber as the characters feel. And that's the frustrating thing. It's so close to being a great movie, but thanks to these MCU-isms, it just knocks it down a few notches for me. And I feel like this happens with several different MCU projects, where there are some great ideas or concepts or even moments where it starts to break the mold and stand out, then it's forced to be brought back down to fit comfortably within the MCU formula. And this can take a project that could have been great and instead just make it pretty good, like Shang-Chi and Thunderbolts, or something that could have been pretty good and make it pretty mid, like Moon Knight. It's like they're really scared to shake it up in fear of losing their audience. It's like what people have been saying for years. The MCU is afraid to innovate, and they very rarely go outside their comfort zone. And when they do, you get something like Thunderbolts where it is really good, it brings something new to the table, but then you got these MCU-isms kind of sticking around, putting a damper on the whole thing. And I feel like I harped on that long enough, but it truly is the biggest thing that annoys me. And this serves as a perfect example that the MCU humor and banter is a plague and actually drags down the overall experience. Am I being too harsh? Am I just a cynical prick now ever since I hit my 30s? Yeah, maybe. But it's clear a lot of talent worked on this movie. You guys remember that little joke trailer Marvel posted called Absolute Cinema? Where they showed us how many different people they had working on this movie behind the scenes that worked on a lot of A24 films. Fun fact, the director put this together as a joke because he thought it was pretty funny that so many people from A24 were all working on this one comic book movie. And Kevin Feige liked it, so he used it in the promotional material. But this shows in the movie. It's pretty solid looking all around, with some great shots and several really good sequences that visually are really creative. Oh, one of the co-writers worked on BoJack Horseman. So it's such a shame that this interesting story with broken characters exploring these themes is bogged down by the Disney machine. Alright, I need to take a breather. So that's the big thing. There are a few small things that kind of bug me, but the only other one worth mentioning is the problems I have with the third act. Now, it's not bad, and actually has a really cool fight with Sentry, and the entire sequence in the Void is great. My only issue is just how fast this whole final act is. Sentry is literally in the suit for like a day before he fights the group. Then the Void takes over, and then they use the power of friendship so he can take back control, and then it's over. It's such a quick climax. By the way, I definitely called the power of friendship ending way back when they first revealed this trailer, because how else are basically 3 Captain Americas and 2 Black Widows are supposed to take him down? But considering the themes they explored, I think this was actually done decently well. So it was actually pretty fitting, and I'm willing to give it a pass. We didn't really get to see Sentry really using his powers that much before the Void takes over for like 10 minutes. So it was all just a bit rushed towards the end. I think the last thing I want to mention is that the action is pretty decent, with some sequences being standouts, like the intro sequence, Bucky's arrival, and when they're fighting Sentry. And there were times where John Walker and Bucky actually felt like super soldiers, so I actually liked seeing that. Now, by comparison, I can see and understand why Thunderbolts was really liked by fans. When compared to recent MCU projects, this one is a step above the rest, so maybe that plays a role as to why people were surprised by it. So you could label it good for a Marvel movie, and I would understand that, but I think, as it stands, even after all my complaining, that overall it's actually just genuinely a pretty good movie. There are things it could have done to make it absolutely great, but as it stands, it's pretty good. Unfortunately, for as good as this movie is, it's a shame that it flopped at the box office, making it a little over $380 million, which doesn't seem bad, but considering the budget and the fact that it's an MCU movie, this is far below expectations. Apparently the break-even point was somewhere about $400 million, which is absolutely insane. It's actually down as one of the worst performing MCU movies, performed worse than the Eternals, but I can't blame people for not checking it out. Remember in the beginning of this video, when I said I had no interest in this movie due to the inconsistent quality and lack of interest? It's clear a lot of other people felt the same way, and even though this movie was good, people still didn't want to take a chance on it because maybe it was all just hype, or maybe it was just good by MCU standards, but if you're tired of the MCU, then that's not really going to convince you to go check it out. Me personally, I enjoyed it so much I actually plan to get it on Blu-ray so I can rewatch it and the behind the scenes features. And for all the bitching and complaining I did in this video, I just want to reiterate that it's not a bad movie, and maybe I'm the problem. But it's a good movie, hell, it's great at times, and I still recommend you check it out. This whole video was me explaining my own personal gripe with the movie that was just frustrating me because it was so close to being great to me personally. But I think it's gonna about do it for the video, so see ya.
I just want to say,
All my fellas. All my fellas. All my fellas.
I missed the part where that's my problem.